There's a reason why you can compare any sporting event on earth to the World Cup. It has shown, how it is the biggest sporting events when it comes to earth, and the World Cup quarterfinals have justified that notion. If you look at the matches that we have seen so far, the match between France and Morocco, the match between England and Norway, and also the final match in the quarterfinal stages between Switzerland and Argentina, an incredible match it was. And one interesting thing about the match between Argentina and Switzerland is the fact that Argentina could become the first team or the first country in the history of the World Cup since 1962 to win the World Cup back to back, because that was when in 1962, led by Pele, Brazil won their second consecutive World Cup. And should Argentina defeat, or should Argentina we have a win over England in their semi-final bet, and then probably get another win in the finals, it will indicate a great history for their country. And I mean, let's come into the match proper. If you look at the match proper, it was a difficult match for Argentina, because if you have followed Switzerland over the past couple of years, especially 3 years to 4 years ago, they've built an incredible array of players, and to the extent that they've also gone 19 matches with only a defeat, and in this run they have beaten Ghana by 5-0. So it just tells you how difficult they have been, and it also tells you that this tournament have had actually no minus, because you look at some of the biggest teams that you think that are going to have a jolly ride, are going to have a massive upper hand over other teams, and it hasn't been so, and properly so in the match between Argentina and Switzerland, where Argentina did win into extra time by 3-1, courtesy a sumptuous, a beautifully taken killer by Julian Álvarez. But one thing that really worked for Argentina is their shape, because they've realized that their best player in the team is Lionel Messi, but he doesn't have the legs again. He doesn't have that capacity. He doesn't have the momentum, to run for 90 minutes. So what are they going to do? They lay out in a 4-1-3-2 system. In this system, what it does is that it gives you an overload in the midfield. So when he pairs with Julian Alvarez drops and then does almost all the running for him, giving him time and space to have a breather. You understand? To have a breather. And one thing you have to also realize about this Argentine squad is the fact that their best players are all midfielders. So they've taken advantage of that. They put in a lot more midfielders in the match, so that they can take advantage of the fact that their quality is in their central and attacking midfield. And exactly so, if you look at the matches that they have played, even though some of the matches they had to come back, from behind to win, especially the match against Argentina, the match against Egypt, where they were down by 2-0, but had to come back and then win by 3-2. And it was also telling, because if you realize the quality of this Argentine squad, because as early as the 10th minute, they've gotten their opener, and it was difficult for the Swiss to come into the game, even though they also had a bit of control, but creating chances was difficult for them because they were in the 4-2-3-1 traditional system, and the moment you pitch a 4-1-3-2 system against a 4-2-3-1 system, it just tells you that what there's always going to be two defensive midfielders in the Switzerland team and only one holding midfielder in the Argentine team. The notion might be because the Argentine believe that they've got so much quality when they are going forward, so why should they have two defensive midfielders helping the defensive line? So that is the intention behind this Argentine selection. And also, when you look at the first half critically, you realize that the Swiss didn't really create anything. So it emboldened the Argentine team to attack more, and they created enough chances. But at the end of the day, they were only able to get a goal. And you see, one thing about the World Cup and the knockout stages is that you have to go all out, especially when you are down by a goal. And that's exactly what the Swiss were able to do. They got a goal back, and then they grew into the game, because when they had the variation, remember, they started in the 4-2-3-1, but they had a variation, and then they moved to a 4-4-2, meaning that they have two attackers now who can put so much pressure on the Argentine defense. And it paid off because they got an equalizer. And then got emboldened, they now have more attempts going forward. But the problem is that when you are playing against a team like an Argentina, and then you foolishly get a red card, because when Mboli got that red card, it took the will out of their sail. It demoralized them, and it's impossible for you to hold on when you're playing against big teams like Argentina with 10 men, for close to 20 minutes. And that's exactly what the Swiss were able to do, and the fact that he even dived on the midway point. I don't think that there's a reason. I don't think that there's any reasonable, defense to what Mbole did, because even if he had gotten a foul in that situation, it is not going to aid, their attacking play. So on what basis did he even commit that error, that blunder, that he simulated a foul? So rightly so, the referee was apt. The referee was well within his right, his interpretation of the law, to have given him a second yellow card that led to his expulsion in the game, and that changed the entire momentum of the game, where it gave the impetus to Argentina now to attack them relentlessly. And I think kudos to the Swiss also, because they held on and they pushed the game into extra time. But that is where the quality shows again. You understand? Because you are now in extra time, and then the Argentine bring on Martinez, quality player by our standard, but it took a wonderful strike by Julian Álvarez, beautiful color by our standard, to kill the spirit of the Swiss national team, and then a third goal from Martinez. And it is incredible, because if you look at what Argentina is doing, they are looking to go to the finals back to back, because don't forget, they are the current champions. They have the title because they won it in 2022. So it will be massively incredible for them to move to the finals, should they be able to defeat England in the semifinals. And anybody who understands and appreciates football knows that one of the biggest international rivalries is between Argentina and England. If you know your history very well, if you know your politics very well, you know that their rivalry does not only come from football, but it has a political undertone. If you look at the Balkans war that the English fought against the Argentines, so it has had an undertone. And also on the pitch, if you look at the hand of golf by Maradona in the 1986 World Cup, where Maradona led Argentina to defeat England in the quarterfinals en route to winning the tournament. So that rivalry has been created both politically and in the sporting world. So Argentina meeting England in the semifinals is a blockbuster by every single standard. And don't forget, they've got history, because they've played 13 matches between them, and England has 6 wins. Argentina has 3 wins, and then 5 has gone into a stalemate. So it's going to be an incredible match. But if you look at how Argentina had played in this tournament, and if you look at how England has also played in this tournament, do you think that Argentina has the upper hand, or do you think that the fact that England has been able to score more goals, or have been able to also play massively well, they have the upper hand against Argentina? What do you think?